Hey, how's everybody doing today? We're here in our new communications channel, Latitude 19, and today is actually our first episode, and we're going to have a special guest coming from Canada. His name is Adrian Zuleta. Welcome, Adrian.
Hello, sir. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. We invited you to this podcast because we know that you're from Canada. I mean, you're originally from South America. You lived in Canada, and now you're here in Mexico City. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
That is correct. Thank you, Octavio. Well, first of all, I was born and raised in Bolivia 36 years ago. 36 years old now. And well, I lived there until I was in college, in university. And then I made the move to Canada with my brother. He was already living there. I wanted to upgrade my opportunities because, well, in my country, Bolivia, they're limited sometimes, right? So that's why I moved to Canada and I lived there for 8 years from 2015 until 2023. It was it is a pleasure living there. It was a great change for me. But now that I moved to Mexico, I found out that living here is so much better.
Listen, I've met a lot of Canadians, especially in like the beach area. Like I met this Canadian lady a couple of years ago. She said she could not stand how cold it is in Canada. So she was like, why would I want to go back to Canada? She's like, I'm Canadian. I love Canada, but I love Mexico better. The weather, the people. Tell me a little bit of your experience, how it's been living in Canada for over 8 years and living through the cold. And I know it gets really freezing below zero, and how your experience coming to Mexico has actually changed your life.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's I relate to that lady so much because I had the same thought actually because, well, I am a civil engineer, right? So I work on the field most times. And I remember being in the cold there, minus 20, minus 15, most days of winter. Winter is eternal for all the Canadians out there, guys. It's really long days, right? And short days and long hours there. So I totally relate to that. Living here so close to the beach. Right now I live here in Mexico City, but I'm investing in Puerto Vallarta and Cancun as well with a business partner that I have.
Let me stop you right there. I know there's a lot of Canadians, Americans, Europeans. There's a lot of people coming to Mexico City right now. Mexico in general has a huge opportunity for investment. Don't believe me, do some research. That's another reason why our friend Adrian right here has invested. He's invested in different parts of Mexico. And tell me how that environment has been attractive to you. I mean, what made you say, okay, I'm leaving, I'm going to be moving to Mexico and I'm going to put my money there. What made you make that decision?
That's important. That's a great question, actually. It's like the mindset that you have in Mexico because, well, whereas in Canada, everybody wants to just work and live. In here, and you lose a sense of time and cultural options and things that you can do actually with your life. But moving all my money here to Mexico was the greatest thing that I've done because although I made good money there in Canada, it's hard to keep up with money and keep up your investments. Let's say just by putting my money here in the bank, they pay me 7%. That's just the interest rate.
Right.
That's a year. And that's just by having my money here. Imagine that. In Canada, they charge you to open bank accounts, right?
Right.
You pay a fee. Everything's a fee there. And here, everything's a good option. So
yeah, well, I know there's a lot of similarities because I grew up in the States, right? I've been living in Mexico for about 4 years, my wife and I, and we love it here. We were coming here for 6 months just to test it out, and we're still here, 4 years later. I know it's not an easy transition because people are like, wait a minute, how do you have the guts to basically grab all your stuff, move out, and just not knowing anybody out there? How do you do it? How did you do it?
I just think it's the mindset that I needed a change. I needed some change in my life. I was feeling that I was just I was living my life in a numb state. I was unhappy. And moving here on, actually I speak, I'm bilingual, right? I also speak Spanish and I understand Portuguese. But anybody that lives here, that moves here, from the United States or Canada to Mexico, there's so many like so many people are actually making that move because it makes sense. It only makes sense because like your money is worth 20 times more. Like one US dollar is 20 pesos.
Well, yeah, especially for people who work online. Like if you're working online
100%.
now, I know there's a lot of unfortunately bad publicity when it comes to coming to Mexico. Don't go to Mexico. It's so dangerous. They're gonna rob you. They're gonna do this to you. And then when people actually arrive here and realize, like, wait a minute, like this is not what I've been told. Have you been told anything like that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Everybody, like most of my friends that are like Canadian born, Canadian raised, are like, hey man, are you safe there? Are you actually safe? I can only say that here it's safer than in most parts of Toronto right now.
I know that people think like you're like dodging bullets left and right, and it doesn't work like that. Don't believe everything you see in the movies, okay, guys? It's not the same. Now, this channel was basically created
Yes.
to make it easy for people to come here and have a soft landing here where they don't have to be struggling to make investments. They don't have to be struggling to get the residence. They don't have to be struggling to know where to live. Like this channel was created so that we can help everybody. Everybody's welcome here. Mexico will open up their arms for you. You know what I'm saying? And I think through you, people can actually see a real life story. Our friend here is real. This is not made up. This is a real life story where someone is really happy of having come here to Mexico, specifically Mexico City. Now, I know there's a lot of things that are different. There are pros and cons. There's more pros than cons. But what are the major, most noticeable differences between Mexico and Canada besides the weather?
Okay, so yeah, that's a good question. Well, the thing is, I believe that the biggest difference is it's the warmth in people.
Okay.
And also I can see now that like the economic cycle here in Mexico is really stable. It's really good. I'm pouring and investing all my money here. I know that Canadians right now, for instance, I was struggling with my money there. I wasn't being able to just save money there. I was always spending all my money, things that I even thought I needed. But I think in Mexico, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of money coming in. There's also I can see that the mindset is changing in Mexico, right? Because before it was like, I think the mindset here, from what I hear from my friends, everything was more local. Now I believe like the Mexican experience is growing fast and is moving towards like other industries as well. I have many friends that are from like the United States, Canada. They love it here. They absolutely love it. And they're making a killing here because whatever money they're saving, they save it in US dollars or Canadian dollars. And they spend their lives here in Mexican pesos. And you eat better, you eat more food, you eat like good things. You have great gyms, you have great opportunities. You have like nightclubs, you're into that. I'm not. You can go to amazing bars, you can go to parks, you have cultural options, you have concerts here. Like, I mean, Shakira just like...
There's a lot of history here in Mexico.
There's so much history. I feel like people take that for granted sometimes. But Mexico has pyramids, you can travel within. Like traffic is great.
The beach is great.
The
Cancun,
beach life
Puerto Vallarta. You got I mean, it's endless.
I agree with that assessment because, well, I bought like a small house in Puerto Vallarta.
Oh, nice.
That was my first like foot here, and that's gonna be my retirement like house when I retire. But like I also have a house in Canada.
You guys are taking notes. House in Puerto Vallarta. If you want more information on that, just contact us. We'll give you that. That was like a quick commercial. So I'm just kidding. Now, listen, I know I don't like getting into political stuff. However, this is an economic issue when it comes to tariffs against Canada and against Mexico. How is Canada dealing with the tariffs that have been imposed by the United States on Canada? I know that Canada is trying to basically just start dealing directly with Mexico. How is that going?
I think that like in order to answer that, like you have to assess what's been happening in Canada for the past like I don't know, like I think it's 4 terms, presidential terms that Liberals won. So I believe that Canada right now is handling poorly all the economic things that are happening within Canada, and like with their relationship with the United States. I feel that they're like handling it poorly. They're just like doing one blow by blow, but you cannot fight the bear, and that's what I call it, right?
Yeah,
because
can't.
he's gonna eat you. And I feel like the prime minister right now was just like recently chosen. I don't think he's gonna change things that much. So I believe this cycle in Canada is gonna be really, it's gonna be a really low economic cycle. That's what I feel like,
Really?
especially for the next 4 years. Yeah, that like Donald Trump
Wow.
is in presidency there. I don't mind too much into politics, but I
Right.
believe a change was needed in Canada this term, and it did not happen.
So this could have been used in a positive way for a wake up call to
one hundred
Canadian people. I
percent.
mean, like you said, hopefully the new prime minister will take action and do something for the people.
100%. Yeah, I believe that although like it's only been less than a year that he's like in government, I don't think their policies are being well done, or like, I mean, in conjunction discussed with the people. I believe Canada is fragmented into too many political parties and too many like lines of thought in regards to how to save the country. Let's say healthcare. Healthcare is free in Canada, but to get an appointment there, I have my friend's wedding on Friday. I'm going to Toronto, guys.
Nice.
And well, his future bride, like his fiance, she's been dealing with a chronic issue
Oh
and
wow.
pain, and she's been going to hospitals there, and they're overcrowded first because you cannot pay, like, I don't know, you cannot pay for like private health. She's being like struggling so much there. So I feel those things, they make you sometimes believe that there's a better place. In Mexico, you have that option here. Although like healthcare here is not free, you can pay for a great specialist. I heard the other day from like a good person, from a good friend of mine, that what's the difference between American doctors, Canadian doctors, and Mexican doctors? Only gadgets. Because I believe here doctors are really good. I had
Yeah,
an
yeah,
issue.
they're
I had
good.
an
They're
elbow
good.
issue because of like working out in the gym and everything, and they fix it here in a matter of days. Whereas in Canada, it would have been like a long. It's gonna be like, it would have been like a long way, a long way to treat it.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of similarities and differences between Mexico, United States, and Canada. And I want to ask you, what was the moment? I mean, you got to remember and look back at the exact moment where you said, "Wait a minute, I'm just moving to Mexico." What was that? Take us back to that moment.
Oh my goodness, that moment I remember it like really vividly because it was during the winter of 2022. It was December 25th. I had to go to work because I'm a field engineer. I had to go to work there. They were gonna pay me extra hours. That didn't matter. That was a Christmas day, but it had to be done. So I remember that day because it was minus 23,
Ooh.
and we were pouring concrete. So like there was like additives that had to be added to the concrete for it to like to harden, right? So I had to be there, and I remember I was just like with my clipboard, my freezing hands. I couldn't even write what I was like writing down, and then I said, I remember going to Mexico and being happy during that vacation. I need to make a shift. I need to change something in my life. This is gonna destroy me inside and outside. I was bitter. I was more bitter there, I think. I was like less. Now I feel that I talk to people more. I'm more open to other stuff. I have more friends. I make friends easily, like more like easier. Sorry. And I feel that that was the moment that changed my life. And also knowing that in here the economic cycle is going up. So as a constructor, as a builder, as an engineer here, it's the biggest opportunity of my life, and for other people as well, for them to move here, because governments, I believe that right now, the government in the US is too polarized into being from one, like, or being on the right or you're in the left. You cannot be in the center there. And in Canada, I feel the economic cycle is just like, it's gonna drag people down a little bit further. And in Mexico, everything is growing. It's growing fast.
It
So
is.
it is important here to like, if you ever eat any industry that you work in, you're gonna find your way here.
Well, I believe that you are definitely on the right path because construction here is insane. I've been in Mexico for 4 years now, and I have seen it grow so much. I've seen so many people invest in developments, and everybody's banking on it right now. Like, I look back 4 years ago, and I'm like, oh my God, this is really going nuts. Like, if this is the time for you to invest, put your money in Mexico right now. There's a lot of people from China coming in, a lot of people from Europe, South America, Central America, United States, Canada, from everywhere. Japanese people are here investing with the new technology. Everybody's doing everything here in Mexico because Mexican people will buy. They will
100%.
buy. Now, I'm telling you, I've seen it all change right in front of my eyes. And I'm telling you, this is the time to come to Mexico. Anyways, before we forget, I want to ask you, what's your favorite Mexican dish?
Oh my goodness. I believe just like street tacos because you can like have all the options. My favorite taco is the campechano, which is like a, I would say it's like a pork belly option, something like that, with like with all the
Ooh,
spices, cilantro.
you know what?
They
The
put
street
like
ones are
onions.
really good.
They're the best, and they're
You,
so cheap. They're like $1. They're like a buck a taco.
a dollar a taco. Can you believe that? A
It's like
dollar a taco. I ate $20 tacos. You're like, you're done.
yeah,
But
exactly.
anyways, well, I just want to thank you so much, Adrian, for coming for this very, very valuable interview with valuable information for everybody who's out there right now. If you're thinking about it, you're thinking about making a change, don't think about it twice. Contact us.
Okay, Fabio. Thanks. Have a good one, guys. Bye.